VFRL, Bobby Jones here with another VGram. And I'm recording this VGram with a little bit of melancholy in my heart due to the passing of President Jimmy Carter. And the reason for that is actually pretty personal, but from a macro sense, I was born and raised in the great state of Georgia, and President Carter's legacy looms large. But it's what he did in his younger years by displaying the character that we would love to see in all of our leaders that directly impacted my life. President Carter was part of the class of 1947, which had been accelerated to graduate because of World War II. Well, when he was a senior, or what we call a firstie, on the yard, there was a young African-American midshipman by the name of Wesley Brown. Wesley Brown's presence there was big news because the Naval Academy at that point had not graduated any black midshipmen. There had been six before him. They all failed. Part of the reason that they failed was because of the unbelievably brutal treatment that they went through. Wesley Brown himself was what we call silenced. No one spoke to him except in the official line of duty, and he roomed by himself. He was practically isolated from the rest of his peers. But Wesley did go and run cross country at the Naval Academy, and that's where he met James Earl Carter Jr. from Plains, Georgia. And Jimmy Carter made a point to speak to him every day, to talk to him, to have conversations, to get to know him, to treat him like a human being fairly. And because of that, he got through that difficult first year and had the motivation to make it all 4 years. And he became the first Black graduate of the Naval Academy in 1949. Without Wesley Brown, there is no me, a class of 2001 graduate of the United States Naval Academy. And without Jimmy Carter, it'd have been much harder for Wesley Brown to achieve that unbelievable feat. I say that because this happened before he became president, before he became governor of the state of Georgia, before any of that. It was just a small town boy from South Georgia treating people the right way with character, dignity, and respect. Commander Brown and President Carter kept in touch their entire lives until Commander Brown passed away in the 2000s. I was able to speak to Wesley Brown's daughter, and she told me about the unbelievable friendship the two of them had, and it was amazing. Wesley Brown is not only the reason I was able to go to the Naval Academy, but in my final days of doubt as a freshman when I wanted to resign my office, it was he who sat me down and asked me, why would I let other people dictate my future? And the reason he asked me that question was because I was going through a lot of stuff my freshman year, and I thought it was unfair how I was being treated. When he asked me that question, a light switch turned on, and I realized that my determination will determine my future. And I've never looked back since. Now, I graduated last, barely made it through, but I did graduate. And Jimmy Carter helped that man graduate, and that man, Wesley Brown, helped me graduate. I never got to meet President Carter. All I know is he created an environment in the state of Georgia that allowed me to have the opportunities that I had growing up. I was born when he was president in 1978. My parents met when he was governor of this great state. And we can talk all day. People will debate his political legacy. They will debate his presidential term, the highs, the lows. But the one thing you cannot debate about that man, he was a leader of character. He truly cared about others before himself, and him and his beautiful wife dedicated what time they had left after leaving the White House to the betterment of the people around them and the people that they could all over the world. I hope people take the time to go and listen to some of the speeches and some of the thoughts that President Carter had. He was truly ahead of his time. He was beyond politics because at the end of the day, he just wanted to be the best man he could. That's character.